In the footsteps of Paul Morphy, Rick Knowlton in New Orleans at the Chess Collectors International Western Hemisphere Conference, September 2025. AncientChess.com. Paul Morphy, one of the greatest chess geniuses of all time, was born, lived most of his life, and died in the French Quarter of New Orleans. I was opening a chess variant show at the World Chess Hall of Fame in St. Louis when Tom Gallegos and Luann Juanis showed up and convinced me to attend the 3-day Morphy extravaganza. So 1 month later, there I was. My first time ever in that singularly historic and festive American city. I was a little early for our first meeting place, the Bourbon Orleans Hotel. In the days of Paul Morphy, 1837 through 1884, this had been an opera house, and Morphy was a big fan.
Hi. Good, thanks. Hi.
Checking in?
Well, can you tell me where my fellows are setting up for the chess collectors event?
Right up here.
Right up here. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There, sir?
I'm trying out my new spy sunglasses, secretly taking video wherever I go. I'm so sneaky and so cool. But it turns out my head is not a stable place to mount a camera, so I must apologize for this whole video. My footage might make you seasick. So I'm out on the street, taking in a few sights of this pleasant tourist town. The party theme of this town is on display everywhere, but unlike most American tourist venues, New Orleans has a rich historic culture. Luckily, I was greeted by a monk of some sort, who assertively placed 2 beaded bracelets on my hand, promising me good luck. My $5 was sufficient, and my new bracelet proved to be a perfect souvenir. An outdoor cafe with a live band in the mid-afternoon? That's New Orleans. There are musicians everywhere. If I lived here, I can see I would be very busy playing for the people. Carriages, more musicians. Even Michael Jackson made an appearance. Photos with a cocktail-serving alligator. Life on the street. Making my own arrangements, I was booked at the Hostel International New Orleans. These places are not only inexpensive, they're very nice. Spacious, clean, good atmosphere, and good people.
So I have a reservation starting tonight, so I guess check Knowlton, Knowlton.
Looks like it's ready already.
What?
Doing a lot of walking already. I'm back to the Bourbon New Orleans Hotel to check in with Tom and Luann.
But now I'm here for the chess event.
Yeah, it's ready.
Yay.
Baylee Badawy is there already.
Hey.
Our family certainly, obviously, you can
Oh.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you for inviting me so graciously.
You're in the right place.
Yes.
And did you get our
Yes.
frantic message?
The preparations Tom and Luann made for this conference were above and beyond anyone's expectation. For starters, here was a richly illustrated book of the historic sites and stories we were here to indulge in. Tom also asks me to fill in for one of the lecturers who couldn't make it. Of course, I enthusiastically accepted. Tom's maps pointed out all the historic sites we were soon to become acquainted with, corresponding to maps showing the world Paul Morphy entered in 1837. My first stop, possibly the world's smallest chess club, the Chess Cave. One little room, a non-profit chess haven founded by Baylee Badawy. One table and all sorts of chess knickknacks. The astrological chessboard brought to mind the game of échecs from the 13th century manuscript of Alfonso X. I found that my favorite outdoor cafe was just around the corner from the legendary street chess master Jude Acers. A genuine New Orleans landmark, Jude promises stiff competition even to the most experienced players. You can play him for a few bucks, almost guaranteed to be defeated. This fellow in the electronic chair seems to give Jude a good game. It turns out he also has a street chess booth of his own. Our first event was a dinner in the lovely historic St. Anne's Cottage, where we were treated to a feature-length film about Jude Acers, the man in the Red Beret. Filmmaker Derek Bridges and Jude were right there with us. I have lived all across the United States, but I've never seen any place with the cultural diversity and history of this city. Music is everywhere, and a monument of Joan of Arc hints at some of the diverse cultural roots. You can't really tell, just passing through, if voodoo is still thriving, but it is certainly among the tourist themes. Our lectures began the next day with John Crumiller, an extraordinarily successful chess collector with some very detailed information about the classic John Company sets from India. Tom Gallegos gave a uniquely engaging historic view of economic aspects of the game of chess. And I took the slot, originally programmed for John Hartman, discussing the diverse forms of chess throughout the world, my theme in the World Chess Hall of Fame, St. Louis. We were then treated to some stories and artifacts from Morphy's life and brought to the Historic New Orleans Collection. This picture of pictures technique was spearheaded by my father, by the way, in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. But of course, we were here to see Paul Morphy's actual chess set. Frank Camarada, a top expert, confirmed the set's date and origin, and much more of New Orleans history was on display. As the sun goes down, more musicians come out. This is a central spot, Jackson Square. Down by the dock, there's a proud statue honoring immigrants. Ironically, 2 months later, mobs of masked secret police sent by the Trump regime are invading New Orleans, abducting immigrants of all kinds. But this city, built by waves of immigrants from Germany, Spain, Haiti, France, and beyond, is a lasting testament of America's rich cultural diversity. And we're here for a riverboat dining cruise. Here's the group shot, and here is the scene from the majestic Mississippi. Just 2 days before full moon, a beautiful perspective on this beautiful centuries-old land where America's greatest river opens into the Gulf of Mexico. I had dinner with Kendric Perkins and Derek Bridges. There he is again, always working on a film. As we traveled down the shore and back, the captain guided us on the long line of coastal features that had been devastated by Hurricane Katrina this day just 20 years ago. Lucky for us to have such a beautiful night on the river. Next day, we're meeting at the Beauregard Keyes house, named for its former owners, the Confederate General Pierre Beauregard and popular author Francis Parkinson Keyes. Paul Morphy's grandfather, Joseph Le Carpentier, had the mansion built in 1826, and it is said that Paul was born there in 1837. I had brought a few chess sets to show and sell to my fellow collectors, and the collection of Tom Gallegos was on display. Really a phenomenal collection to any lover of chess history. While Frances Parkinson Keyes lived here, she had the house refurbished back to its present state and wrote, among other things, The Chess Players, based on the life of Paul Morphy. I immediately ordered the book on Amazon. Chess items on display included a potpourri of objects collected by the Chess Cave. We were treated to a comprehensive slideshow presentation of Jude Acers' career, along with his beloved apprentice, Baylee Badawy. Kendric Perkins of the Historic New Orleans Collection, HNOC, gave an in-depth presentation about Paul Morphy's rich and complex social environment. A true lover of history, and his participation uplifted our entire New Orleans experience. And of course, several of us tried our hand against the legendary Jude Acers in a simul exhibit. Take notice, a vinyl mat that has been folded makes a miserable playing surface. Nevertheless, I had a good game with the master, quite even until some pressure came on, including pressure to get up and leave the venue on time, and I fell into a silly checkmate. I passed quickly by so many musicians, but I wish I had stayed a moment to hear this rich, haunting voice. Of course, the particular residence of Paul Morphy was a top destination. Now Brennan's Restaurant, we enjoyed a brief luncheon there.
Thank you. Is there a chess collectors group here?
There is. They're actually
Where are they?
right up the steps are on the left side.
Thank you very much. Hi.
Another of our luncheons was held at the so-called Napoleon House. It is said that the owner of this building, New Orleans Mayor Nicolas Girard, had expanded and fashioned the building to house Napoleon Bonaparte after stealing him away from exile on the Isle of St. Helena. Alas, the legendary emperor died before the mission could be completed. It's an historic landmark, great example of French period architecture, including, of course, the courtyard. Our last hurrah was dinner in Morphy's old home, adjacent to the room where the brilliant young master died at just 47 years old. Tom, Jude, Brian of the World Chess Hall of Fame, Luann. Again, I enjoyed dining with Kendric, goofing off and even playing a quick honorable draw with Tom. The big surprise was a drama secretly planned by Tom and Luann, a meeting of the ghosts of Paul Morphy, Bobby Fischer, and Morphy's contemporary voodoo queen Marie Laveau. The room of Morphy's death, now named the Morphy Room, maintains this chessboard with salt and pepper shakers. It is, after all, now Brennan's restaurant. Glances in shop windows show a few impressive historic chess collectibles, but you don't want to miss the magnificent nightlife on Bourbon Street. Music, the life, the excitement. New Orleans has a deep history of cultural mixing. It really feels different from other cities in the U.S. Music is the common currency. Celebration is a way of life, whether they live here for it or are just visiting. That means a lot of live musicians. Some sex. And chess. When our chess collectors conference was over, a few of us stayed to meet at this famous cemetery. It is known for a scene in the film Easy Rider. Even the offbeat, somehow mainstream film star Nicolas Cage has a pyramid built here to house his bones. A family will buy a lot here, build a mausoleum, then either keep it up or forget about it. Some just deteriorate into the ground. You can see the centuries passing before your eyes. Of course, we're here for the tomb of Paul Morphy. They can have 50 corpses stuffed into one small mausoleum. When a new person dies, they shove the old bones to the back to make room for more. Paul Morphy's elementary school was Jefferson Academy, now Broussard's restaurant. Shown here is fine dining in the former horse and buggy stable. We few stragglers had lunch there before heading home. A tasteful trio entertained us with one of my favorites, It's a Wonderful World. This chess player had a fascinating life in an amazing American town. I've been inspired to read more about him, and will have to visit again someday.